Alright, this is the assembly instructions for the fountain. So, as I've mentioned in other videos, everything comes on a card now, and to get them out, you just simply press with your finger. This larger fountain is held in by two pieces on the sprue, so if you just spin it a couple of times like so, it'll just fall right out. These smaller pieces are only still held on by one, so you would take piece out, keep this ring here, this one with the gear in the middle, you would take the gear out, obviously, and then you would toss this ring. I mean, you could keep it if you want, it might be cool for something, but we want the gear. And then for these, you just pop these rings out, and they fall out pretty easily on their own if you just tap it a few times, like they all fall out. This piece here holds the center pieces all together, so we're going to go ahead and use our hobby knife to cut the little sprue connector and then pop that guy out. So that's an important piece. Now we'll set the sprue to the side. We want to get these little rings, these little circle pieces out. These are the center piece of the fountain. You can toss this. It might be useful for, if you make some unique kit bash like thing, maybe, but I'll just throw them away. So we stack all these rings over here, like so, and then we get the center pieces of these out and throw those away. Center pieces of these out and throw that away. Center piece of these out. We might not use all those center pieces. It depends. So one thing you're going to want to do is everything has a sprue marker on it. So you're just going to want to use your hobby knife and just trim that up a bit to smooth it out for when you paint it. And this is the base. So we're going to be gluing stuff onto the base. So this is how this will work. I, generally speaking, like to line up the sprue markers so that I know where they're all at. So if you just line them up like this, it just makes it easier. When you go to paint it and clean it up and all that, it sort of gives it a back. So that would be like the back of the fountain. It's a circular fountain. It doesn't really have a back. So what I do is I put a dab on either side of the circle, maybe 3 dabs, and I take the next ring, and it doesn't matter what order these rings go in. I line up the sprue markers, and before pressing down on them, I try to make sure they're lined up pretty well, and then I squeeze the rings together. And then I do that for the next two. So I'll put a dab here, here, and here. I'll take this one, I'll line the sprue marker up, so make sure it's aligned pretty well with my thumbs, and then I'll squeeze. And last one, dab there, there, and there. Line the sprue markers up. And then we just squeeze these together. Like that. And then for the top piece of the fountain, we just put a little ring of glue there. And then we just set this guy. Well, actually a better way to do this, instead of setting it on the top, flip these all upside down, and then you can more easily align it center, like so. So that's a good way to sort of get it as centered as possible. So there we go. Now we have it centered. Now we want to put the center piece together. So this is actually going to go on the base here. So what I do is I just put a dab of glue in 4 spots on the base, and then I just sort of eyeball it from the top and just sort of align it to that base, and then just squeeze it on down. It's pretty good. And then for the center piece that comes out of the center of the fountain, that is actually going to possibly be kind of tall. So what we're going to do with that is we are going to put glue on the bottom of this piece here, put one of these rings on, have that, basically that glues that bottom ring on. And then we're going to slide the other rings on it, on top. So there's one. Well, that's two technically, so that's three. That's four. It's five. And notice we're not gluing these. We're just sort of sliding them on. 6, 7, and 8. So for the last one, before we put the last one on, we're just going to put a dab of glue here. Make sure it doesn't run over the edge. And then we're going to slide that last piece on there. To paint this, generally, because it's a fountain, I'll spray paint it with some grays and browns and slate grays and that sort of stuff, just to give it sort of a stony texture, stony look. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put like little dabs of glue here on the sort of outside of that top piece, and then we're going to take this cog. We're going to try to just eyeball it and just sort of center it up right there. And then this whole structure is going to go in the middle of this fountain. So to do that, just put a dab of glue here on the bottom. Just sort of eyeball it a little bit. And we want that in the center, just like that. And there you go. That is the assembly instructions for the fountain.